Yo, what's good? I'm J-Bro. I'm an artist and gamer who loves most forms of visual storytelling, and that includes game cinematics and trailers. We've been getting into World of Warcraft recently, and y'all have been helping me piece stuff together in between the cinematics and trailers that I've watched, and some cutscenes. But now it's time to piece together all of the lore. We have a video from Hidden Azeroth called The Almost Complete History of World of Warcraft, which was suggested to me by some of y'all. So let's see what we're talking about.
So
Here we
you're new to
go.
WoW and want to know what's going on, or you're just trying to figure out which horde you're a part of. Here's the entire history of Azeroth in 23 minutes. Way back at the start of the universe, there were Titans, which are gods born out of planets, kind of. The Titans formed a pantheon, which went around looking for more baby Titan planets called World Souls. One of these planets was named Azeroth, currently inhabited by a bunch of elementals. A mysterious
Oh, okay. See, this is what I was saying was kind of like Celestials in the MCU.
group
Yeah.
of beings who wanted to kill the pantheon, named the Void Lords, were also looking for World Souls and sent their servants, the Old Gods, to go find and corrupt them. Some Old Gods found Azeroth and started bleeding bugs on everything. The Pantheon eventually finds Azeroth.
That's where the
too, and
Old
they
Gods
start
came
fighting
from?
Everyone. First the Elementals, then the Old Gods. The Titans win, but they can't kill the Old Gods without killing Azeroth, so they build prisons instead. They leave behind a bunch of metal guys and also some dragons to look after Azeroth and guard the prison in their absence. Off in another section of the universe, the Titan Sargeras learns the Old Gods could corrupt Titan planets and decides the only reasonable solution is to kill all life in the universe. He starts building a massive army called the Burning Legion by corrupting inhabitants of Titan planets. The Pantheon
Whoa.
isn't happy.
Why do we skip 0 to 100? Wait, this is making so many things make sense so fast that I've seen. I didn't wait, what? That's where the Old Gods came from? And Buddy decided to create the Burning Legion for that reason? I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, from his perspective, from a cosmic perspective, that's the bigger priority, to like make sure that the world soul doesn't get corrupted. But damn, bro, what about me?
So they try to calm Sargeras down, telling him that the army is pointless because they found a world soul strong enough to defeat the Void Lords. Sargeras responds by killing the Pantheon and imprisoning their spirits, and sets out to find and destroy Azeroth, fearing what would happen
Well,
if the
why?
Titans that powerful was corrupted. Unfortunately, Sargeras forgot to ask where Azeroth was first, so he has to start looking for it. Another powerful world soul is Argus,
was
a
that
planet
his
inhabited by the
response?
Eridar, who are led by Archimond, Kil'jaeden, and Velen. Sargeras wants to corrupt Argus and approaches the free rulers in disguise, offering them immense power with no strings attached. Archimond and Kil'jaeden accept the power like suckers, and most of the Eridar get corrupted, but Velen realizes it's a trick and refuses. Velen prays for guidance, and a race of sentient chandeliers called Banaro hear him and send a spaceship, which Velen and the remaining uncorrupted Eridar use to flee Argus. The uncorrupted group changes their name to the Draenei, which means the exiled one. Kil'jaeden is angry about their escape and vows to hunt them down.
Okay, y'all did explain to me that those guys are basically aliens, so now I'm understanding where they came from. Interesting. And this guy just straight up looks like Galactus at this point with the mask.
The world soul of Argus and uses it to build a machine that lets him regenerate anyone in his army, making them effectively immortal. Meanwhile, back on
Hang on, he does what? Doesn't that wait.
Sargeras corrupts the world soul of Argus and uses it to build a machine that lets him regenerate anyone in his army, making them effectively immortal.
Wasn't he doing all this to keep world souls from getting corrupted?
Old gods drive their guards crazy and make
this is happening so fast.
Meaning these guys turn into these guys. A big magic pool called the Well of Eternity that was left behind by the Titans starts hyper-evolving deer and squirrels into a race called Trolls. The Trolls dub themselves the Zandalari and form the Zandalari Empire, which has a strict caste system. The lowest caste decides that being in the lowest caste sucks and leaves to form their own empires. One of these empires settles by the Well of Eternity and evolve even further, transforming into elves. These newly formed elves create the Caldori Empire. Led by Queen Azshara, they use the Well of Eternity to gain magical and technological superiority, allowing them to swiftly defeat the Zandalari and take over Kalimdor.
Oh, I see.
Caldori's excessive use of the Well of Eternity lets Sargeras magically access Azeroth, but he still has no idea where it is in physical space, so he needs to rely on opening portals to invade. Since he needs a powerful mage to open the portals, Sargeras reaches out to Azshara and offers her a place at his side. Azshara agrees and uses Well of Eternity to summon a Burning Legion into Azeroth. The dragons in an elf rebellion led by Tyrande Whisperwind and brothers Illidan and Malfurion Stormrage fight to stop Azshara in the War of the Ancients. Attempting to gain power against the Legion, Illidan pretends to join Azshara's forces. Sargeras is so grateful he stabs out Illidan's eyes and gives him cool demon vision. This allows Illidan to see the true power
that's how we got that. Okay.
Their defeat on Azeroth will ultimately be pointless. One of the 5 aspects, named
That boy
Alfarian, is
Illidan.
driven mad by the Old Gods, who convince him to steal the other aspect's powers by making a weapon called the Dragon Soul under the guise of fighting the Legion. Once the weapon is built, Alfarian blows everyone up with it. He changes his name to Deathwing to show off how edgy and cool he is. Alfarian steals the Dragon Soul and hides it. Deathwing is sealed in Deep Home, a big cave at the core of Azeroth. The Rebellion shuts down the portal and stops the Legion, but the Well of Eternity is destroyed in the process, which causes a big magical explosion called the Sundering that breaks Kalimdor into a bunch of little pieces. As the Caldori capital sinks into the ocean, the Old God Azoth turns Azshara and her followers into fish. Obsessed with the power of a night well and fearing an ever-legion invasion, Illidan uses water reeds stolen from the Well of Eternity to make a new well in Mount Hyjal. The other elves are angered by this and throw
This is a
Illidan
very
in jail for
impressive
his
video.
actions. The remaining elves fight over whether to use the last of the well and break into 2 factions. The Night Elves stay on Kalimdor, and the Highborn travel to the Eastern Kingdoms and make a new font of magical energy called the Sunwell. They rename themselves the High Elves. The children of some Vrykul and Northrend are being born mutated. These mutated children are ordered to be killed, but some are snuck to the eastern kingdoms instead. Here they form tribes and call themselves humans. One group of humans called the Arafi tribe begins to unite the other.
What? No, that's how humans spawned in. Mutated babies that were supposed to get excommunicated ran away and now we're humans. Oh my god, what kind of... We're just spawned in nerfed.
Some Vrykul and Northrend are being born mutated. These mutated children are ordered to be killed, but some are snuck to the eastern kingdoms instead. They form tribes and call themselves humans. One group of humans called the Arafi tribe begins to unite the other groups under one banner, forming the Kingdom of Arathor. Eventually, the Kingdom of Arathor grows so large that several of its biggest cities declare independence and break off into the kingdoms of Gilneas, Alterac, Dalaran, Kultiras, Stormwind, and Lordaeron. The High Elves ally themselves with humans to fight the trolls living in the eastern kingdoms, while the Night Elves and Dragons fight the Old God bugs and lock them in the Titan prison of Ahn'Qiraj. The High Elves teach the humans magic, and some of the humans start to accidentally summon demons and elementals to protect against the threats created by humans magic. The leaders of Dalaran decide to give one human a whole bunch more magic. This person is called the Guardian, and they pass their power on to the next person the council chooses when they retire.
The Guardian.
Sargeras,
okay.
Who still has no idea where Azeroth is physically, is currently trying to open another.
The Guardian. Okay, I'll let it cook. I'll let it cook. There's a lot happening just as fast. I'm catching up.
An army-sized portal requires a lot of magic, so Sargeras can only open a small portal and send a less powerful mini version of himself called an avatar through. His avatar
Sargeras is just the ultimate op.
In order to gain more magic. But dragons aren't a fan of being eaten, so they ask the humans for help, and the humans send the current guardian, Aegwynn, who goes to Northrend and kills the avatar, sealing its body in the tomb of Sargeras so it can't be resurrected. Unbeknownst to Aegwynn, a portion of Sargeras' soul powering the avatar jumps into her when she kills it and proceeds to hide. Aegwynn decides that someone else getting to choose who gets her powers is lame, so she goes into hiding. Remember Velen and those
How's this guy causing so many problems? He's not even here yet.
goats on the spaceship that were fleeing the Legion? They just crashed onto a peaceful planet called Draenor and made friends with the orcs, a race of shaman who are happy to share their planet. Everyone is friendly, and these two races are sure to be lifelong pals. Back on Azeroth, the dwarves are living inside a mountain when their king dies, and suddenly everyone wants to be the new leader. The War of the Three Hammers breaks out, and the dwarves split into the Bronzebeard, Darkiron, and Wildhammer clans. The Bronzebeards win and take over Ironforge. Angry over losing the war, the Darkirons try to summon elementals to kill the other clans, but they do too good a job and accidentally summon Ragnaros, the Fire Lord, who traps the Darkiron dwarves inside Black Rock Mountain and forces them to act as his slaves. Aegwynn is still in hiding and just had a child named Medivh. Unbeknownst to her, the latent fragments of Sargeras' soul jump into Medivh and hide inside him. In a stunning display of nepotism,
wait, what?
Gives her
That's not good.
The Guardian. The human kingdom of Stormwind.
That's really not good.
Trolls. During a troll attack on Stormwind City, the now adult Medivh uses his powers as the Guardian to obliterate the trolls and save the city. He's heralded as a hero and welcomed as the new Guardian. Sargeras remains undiscovered inside of him. On Draenor, Kil'jaeden has tracked down Velen and the draenei. He reaches out to an orc shaman named Gul'dan, offering him power if he helps turn the orcs against him. Gul'dan agrees and proceeds to frame the draenei for attacks on orc villages. The orcs respond by banding together to stop the draenei. Gul'dan forms a cool new group called the Horde, and the secret ingredient is fell magic. He convinces the Horde to drink the blood of the demon Manaroth, which has the side effect of turning their skin green and also enslaving them to the Legion. He installs the bloodthirsty Black Hand as the puppet warchief. This new fell-crazed Horde slaughters the draenei who flee into the forest led by Velen. Under Warchief Blackhand, the Horde is reckless and destructive. Quickly, they eat all the food on Draenor and need a new place to live. Sargeras sees this as an opportunity to have his avatar freed from the tomb and tells Gul'dan about a lush planet the Horde can invade called Azeroth. Back on Azeroth, Sargeras begins to corrupt Medivh from within, eventually convincing him to help Gul'dan.
That's kind of crazy. I didn't realize that the Horde was not from Azeroth. Oh wait, that portal that they were okay.
Open a dark portal, a massive gate that connects Azeroth to Draenor. The orcs pour through, marking the beginning of the first.
Wait, that's actually insane. I didn't realize, like I knew it was a portal when I was watching those cutscenes and cinematics, but I didn't realize that Azeroth was a whole different planet and that the Horde and the wait. Oh my god. I didn't realize how much cosmic shit was going on in World of Warcraft. So it like threw me off when the cutscenes and stuff in that first long video, all of a sudden we were dealing with planets and titans and stuff. I was like, whole time I thought the Horde was on the same planet with humans. Like, I thought everybody was on Azeroth at first.
War. The first war rages on for 3 years between the Horde and the Kingdom of Stormwind, led by King Lane Wrynn. The Kingdom of Stormwind still believes Medivh is their ally, and he continues to act as the Guardian. An orc named Garona meets and befriends Medivh and his apprentice Khadgar. Garona abandons the Horde and sides with humans. Together, Khadgar and Garona discover that Medivh is responsible for opening the portal and team up with General Anduin Lothar to kill Medivh. Orgrim Doomhammer is upset by Blackhand's brutality towards his own soldiers and challenges him to a mock Garroth for leadership of the Horde. Orgrim wins and kills Blackhand. Garona returns to Stormwind to deliver her report of Medivh's death. While informing King Wrynn of the situation, Garona is possessed by Horde warlocks and assassinates the king against her will. Without its leader, Stormwind falls to the Horde, ending the First War.
Possessed by what?
Stormwind flee north to Lordaeron, where Anduin Lothar convinces the other kingdoms to assist. Together, they begin to plan a second war.
They said his name is Anduin? Is this who? Well, I guess we'll see.
The Horde and unite into the Alliance of Lordaeron. Meanwhile, Doomhammer's Horde marches north from Stormwind towards Ironforge to get resources. The Horde fights the dwarves and gnomes, leaving them trapped in their cities. The horde continues north towards Lordaeron, but it's too well defended.
Just
so they head
fucking
past
up
it
that
and
whole
over
side of
high
the
elves
map.
to Quel'Thalas for a bit before turning around. Gul'dan betrays the horde and leaves for a tomb of Sargeras with some soldiers. Fenny betrays Sargeras and ignores orders to open a portal, instead planning to steal the power of a tomb for himself. Sargeras doesn't like being betrayed, so demons eat Gul'dan. Orgrim Doomhammer is unaware of Gul'dan's desertion.
Wait, Gul'dan was in like a generational run. Why did he do that? I feel like he would have been fine, no?
He begins a siege of Lordaeron.
Maybe not.
Originally successful, Doomhammer had been counting on Gul'dan's forces to bolster the assault, and when he learns they have abandoned the horde, he's forced to undergo an incredibly costly retreat to Blackrock Mountain. Unaware that Gul'dan is already dead, Doomhammer dispatches the sons of a former war chief Blackhand, Dalrend and Maim, along with a contingent of orcs to slay Gul'dan. The pursuing human forces free the besieged
Bro's already
dwarves and
cooked.
elves who pledge their service to the Alliance. The severely weakened horde makes their final stand at Blackrock Mountain. Orgrim Doomhammer kills Anduin Lothar to break the human spirits, only for him to be replaced by the paladin Turallion, who captures Doomhammer and rallies the Alliance into pushing the horde back through the dark portal. Khadgar deactivates
Oh my
the
god.
portal, closing the gateway between Azeroth and Draenor and ending the second
There
war.
was so much
Frank
more
Maim
going on
and a
here.
contingent of orcs arrives at Blackrock Mountain after the Alliance departs and occupy the fortress for themselves. Fortifying the keep from attackers, they create the cool new Dark Horde, and the secret ingredient is
The
dragon.
Dark
The
Horde?
victorious Alliance rebuilds Stormwind, naming the adolescent son of Lane Rin, Varian, as king.
Yeah,
Also
my
puts the
goat.
orcs they captured into internment camps. Orgrim himself is sent to one such camp. The High Elves, feeling that the protection of Lordaeron was prioritized over their capital, Quel'Thalas, leave the Alliance. Back on Draenor, the orc shaman Ner'zhul finds himself leading the remnants of the horde on a still dying world. He plans to open portals to other planets to plunder their resources because it worked so well last time. But to do this, he needs to steal magical artifacts from Azeroth, so he reopens the dark portal. Great work, Khadgar.
You know what's crazy? Somebody recently explained to me in the comments, like, the relationship between the Draenor and the orcs or the horde. I just didn't realize, or the draenei, the alien dudes. I just didn't realize that was occurring on a whole nother planet.
And sends a small group of soldiers through to retrieve the artifacts. They succeed, but the Alliance decides to go on the offensive, electing to send a group of soldiers led by Turallion, Khadgar, and some other people into the dark portal in order to end the horde once and for all.
Damn, they sent the abyss. Wait, was that who I thought it was? Yeah, Laria. Oh shit.
End the horde once and for all. Corrupted by the power of the artifacts, Ner'zhul opens a massive number of portals at once, tearing apart the fabric of Draenor and abandoning the horde. The planet is destroyed and pulled into the twisting universe, forming a floating landmass called the Outlands. In order to save Azeroth from the might of a now stranded horde, Khadgar collapses the dark portal, trapping himself and the Alliance expedition in the Outlands. Presumed dead, statues of the leaders of the expedition are erected in the newly rebuilt Stormwind. Angered by Ner'zhul's betrayal of the horde, Kil'jaeden turns him into an evil hat and a sword called Frostworm that have the power to raise the dead. Then he drops him on Azeroth.
Whoa. I'm sorry. What? I'm gonna need to run that back.
Kil'jaeden turns him into an or erected in the newly
He turned him.
Stormwind. Angered by Ner'zhul's betrayal of the horde, Kil'jaeden turns him into an evil hat.
Kil'jaeden turned this guy into the Lich King? How does that work? Why did he become that specifically? I was under the impression that there always has to be one. How did this dude randomly get turned into the Lich King?
And a sword called Frostworm that have the power to raise the dead.
Or I
he
guess
drops him on Azeroth in order to weaken the human kingdoms in preparation for
the helmet and
he
you know what I mean.
Demons called Dreadlords to help speed things along. In the orcish internment camps, a young orc named Thrall befriends Doomhammer, and together they rally the orcs into rebellion and escape the camps. They build a cool new horde, and the secret ingredient is friendship, but Orgrim is killed, naming Thrall the new war chief. Thrall leads the orcs to the lost
that dude
continent of
Thrall.
Kalimdor in order to escape the humans.
Or some of y'all called him Green Jesus.
Trolls and Matoran, both of whom join the horde. Ner'zhul, now called the Lich King, has had a few years to get ready, and he's starting to build a following. He needs powerful magic boys to open a big portal, so he recruits the wizard Kel'Thuzad, and together they make a plague
I swear Kil'jaeden is one of the writers. Bro just be making shit happen.
It kills people and turns them into zombies. They release it into the northern cities of Lordaeron via
basically the White Walkers.
The Third War begins. King Taranis Menethil of Lordaeron hears rumors of a plague to the north and sends his son Arthus and the mage Jaina Pradmore to investigate. They find that Kel'Thuzad has poisoned a recent grain delivery to the bustling city of Strathholm with a plague. Arthus kills Kel'Thuzad and they head to Strathholm to stop a grain shipment. The duo is too late to stop the townsfolk from eating the grain.
Oh my god, I just realized. Hold on. Wait, that's Arthus and Jaina. I'm not used to seeing normal Arthus. Every time I've seen, bro, he's already
They find that Kel'Thuzad has poisoned a recent grain delivery
on the dark side.
City of Strathholm with a plague. Arthus kills Kel'Thuzad and they head to Strathholm to stop a grain shipment. The duo is too late to stop the townsfolk from eating the grain, and with no cure for the plague, Arthus decides to kill the infected before they're turned into mindless undead. Jaina is aghast and abandons Arthus. Arthus purges the city and meets the Dreadlord Mal'Ganis, the Consva Prince, telling him to find him in Northrend. Arthus becomes obsessed with taking revenge on Mal'Ganis and follows him to Northrend. The corruption begins. Along the way, the sword consumes his soul, and Arthus is corrupted by the will of the Lich King, becoming an undead soldier called a Death Knight. Now minion of the Lich King, Arthus returns to Lordaeron and murders his father, King Taranis Menethil, while his forces destroy the city. The Lich King still needs Kel'Thuzad.
Now I'm a little confused, because in that cinematic, didn't Medivh Was that Medivh that came to warn the king? Why? I thought if Medivh was like a villain whole time, you know, if I missed something, it's whatever, bro. Somebody cook me in the comments.
He orders Arthus to stuff the dead wizard chunks in a jar. In order to raise Kel'Thuzad as a lich, Arthus needs the power of the Sunwell, so he marches his forces north to Kel'Thalas. Along the way, he captures the Ranger General of Silvermoon, Sylvanas Windrunner, who he kills and raises as a banshee. The Scourge storms Silvermoon.
Why did he raise her?
Elves, raising Kel'Thuzad as a lich and corrupting the Sunwell in the process. With Kel'Thuzad resurrected, the Scourge return south and raid the city of Dalaran for a magic book. Once they have it, Kel'Thuzad summons
Bro's just on a conquest
and punches it, which destroys Dalaran. Remember that second well of
that was crazy.
Made in Hyjal? Archimond needs it to summon the Legion, so he and the gang head west to Kalimdor. Also, a big tree called
Bro, he's just running everybody's fade.
Jaina and Thrall are both met by the ghost of Medivh, who says they need to stop Archimond at Mount Hyjal or Azeroth will be destroyed. Jaina leads
the ghost? Was he Wait, was he already dead when he came to warn the king? What the hell? I guess I see why they didn't trust bro, because when I was first watching the stuff, I was like, if a Birdman shows up giving me that kind of warning, I would listen. But maybe, I mean, I see now that there are reasons I guess people wouldn't trust bro.
The alliance to Kalimdor. On Kalimdor, the spooky Medivh ghost meets Jaina and Thrall again and tells them that the Alliance and Horde need to work together. But one group of orcs under Grommash Hellscream gets tricked by Manaroth into drinking more demon blood and becomes servants of the Burning Legion again. Jaina frees Grom, who kills Manaroth, freeing the orcs but killing himself in the process. The Night Elves find out
that's what that was.
And join the fight. Tyrande, the leader of the Night Elves, orders Illidan to be released from jail to help fight demons. Illidan promises to consuming demonic power to stop the Legion. Illidan then promptly consumes more demonic power to stop the Legion, eating the soul of the man and using the powers to blow up a Dreadlord. Tyrande and Malfurion are furious and banish Illidan, who runs off and sulks. The ghost of Medivh tells everyone that he's manifesting because he feels bad for opening the dark portal and wants to fix his mistake. The three armies pledge to stop the Legion and build a series of base camps in Mount Hyjal.
So bro's a force ghost.
Well, Archimond completely bulldozes through these base camps and reaches the well, so the ancient spirits of the Night Elves called Wisps turn themselves into a bomb and blow Archimond and his army up. They also accidentally blow up a world tree, so the Night Elves stop being immortal, but at least the third war is over. Thrall had
That's what was happening there? Wait, those were wisps? Somebody explain to me what wisp was in the video after that. Like, because I saw when I saw that cinematic, I was just like, okay, cool. And then somebody explained what wisps were after. Now it's all making sense.
South into the deserts of Kalimdor and founds the Horde capital of Orgrimmar, named after Orgrim Doomhammer. In the ruins of Kel'Thalas, Prince Calphas Sunstrider destroys the Sunwell so it doesn't corrupt his people. Without the Sunwell, the High Elves go into magic withdrawal, and most rename themselves to the Blood Elves. About 10% continue to call themselves High Elves and break off to rejoin the Alliance. This schism becomes the single largest point of contention among the WoW player base. Illidan, still angry about being accused of serving demons, agrees to serve Kil'jaeden by hunting down and killing the Lich King, who's gone rogue. He teams up with some Naga and Prince Calphas and casts a spell which severely injures the Lich King. Ner'zhul the Hat realizes how do you injure the Lich King? From his injury, so he recalls Arthus to Northrend. The Alliance rallies under Grand Marshal Garithos to push the undead out of the ruins of the Kingdom of Lordaeron, now called the Plaguelands. Due to the Lich King being weakened, Sylvanas breaks free from his control and works alongside him to retake the capital city. However, once the Scourge is defeated, she turns on her living allies and slays them. Claiming Lordaeron for herself, she unites the undead from the Lich King's control into the Forsaken. Arthus leaves Kel'Thuzad to command the remaining.
Okay, so she was moving crazy already.
Illidan battles Arthus in a final attempt to prevent him from saving the Lich King, but Arthus wins and puts on the hat, merging his soul with Ner'zhul and being frozen in a block of ice. Illidan retreats through a portal to the Outlands with Calphas and some of the Naga. Fearing the Alliance will attempt to retake Lordaeron from her, Sylvanas and the Forsaken join the Horde, hoping their military might will deter the Alliance. The Horde now consists of Orcs, Tauren, Trolls, and Forsaken. With the loss of Lordaeron, the recently rebuilt city of Stormwind becomes the Alliance, which consists of humans, dwarves, gnomes, Night Elves, and a few remaining High Elves. The city of Dalaran gets rebuilt and they put it under a dome. A Night Elf named Fandral Staghelm decides to grow a new world tree called Teldrassil so the Night Elves can keep being immortal. It doesn't work, but the Night Elves decide to live on it anyway. While traveling to a diplomatic meeting with the Horde, King Varian Wrynn is kidnapped. His 10-year-old son Anduin is named leader of Stormwind, with Bolvar Fordragon acting as regent lord. This marks the beginning of World of Warcraft. The armies of the Horde and Alliance have been greatly weakened by the Third War.
What? This marks the beginning of World of Warcraft? Everything else is just prequel knowledge? Oh my god.
This marks the beginning of World of Warcraft. The armies of the Horde and Alliance have been greatly weakened by the Third War, so both factions begin to recruit new soldiers from among their citizens to depopulate the local wildlife. These citizens become known as the Champions of Azeroth and are the player characters in WoW. In Blackrock Mountain, Ragnaros starts summoning elementals, so the Champions of the Horde and Alliance banish him back to the Firelands.
Damn, look at all this!
And kill Rend Blackhand. On
It's a lot of PNGs.
All the bugs break out of jail, so the Alliance and Horde build a stick and use it to break into bug jail to kill Cthulhu. We can kill old gods, but the Titans can't because reasons. Off in the Outlands, Illidan and Calphas steal a floating chandelier ship called Tempest Keep. Velen and the surviving draenei steal a piece of it and fly off into space. Kel'Thuzad builds a big floating box called Naxxramas that he's ruling the Plaguelands from. The Champions of Azeroth break in and kill him. The remaining demons in the Outlands reopen the Dark Portal in order to invade Azeroth. They are beaten up immediately, and Azeroth decides to invade the Outlands to teach them a lesson. This marks the beginning of the Burning Crusade. Calfast discovers his spell energy as a substitute for his Sunwell and joins the Legion. Blood Elves start doing fell magic and their eyes turn green. Some are upset about this and join the Horde. The rest continue to follow Calfast.
Dude, this fell shit is no joke.
Land on Azeroth and join the Alliance because it's the side that doesn't have orcs. The Alliance find Khadgar, Kurdan, and Trollbane alive and operating in the Outlands.
That's fair.
Windrunner and General Turalian are still missing. Thrall meets Garrosh Hellscream, the son who Grommash Hellscream left behind on Draenor. The two become friends and Garrosh joins the Horde. The champions of Azeroth beat up Illidan and send him to jail. Then we beat up Calfast and he gets really big.
Garrosh has ended the chat.
Calfast gets resurrected with fell magic and decides to use the Sunwell to summon Kil'jaeden to Azeroth. The Alliance and Horde lay siege to the...
How much shit can fell magic do?
Sunwell, killing Calfast again and stopping Kil'jaeden before he can enter Azeroth. Velen purifies the Sunwell by throwing a dead chandelier into it so Blood Elves don't die of withdrawal. This marks the end of the Burning Crusade. In Northrend, Malygos gets mad about how much magic people are using and decides no more magic for anyone. He begins to slurp up all the magic on Azeroth, which angers Vakir and Tor of Dalaran, since without magic, wizards are just frail nerds. They teleport Dalaran to the skies above Northrend and team up with the other dragon aspects in order to fight.
They teleport? What? You warped spawn itself to fight a dragon?
Malygos. Varian Rin is rescued and returns to Stormwind to take his place as High King of the Alliance. The new and improved Lich King Arthus wakes up and decides to conquer Azeroth.
High King
He
Varian.
sends infected grain to the capital cities of the Alliance and Horde, which kills some citizens, but mostly just angers the two factions, who team up and send an
infected grain is crazy.
They're joined by the Argent Crusade, a group of paladins devoted to stopping the undead. Some of Arthas' Death Knights rebel and join the Alliance and Horde. The Lich King resurrects Kel'Thuzad again and moves Naxxramas to Northrend in order to fight the Argent Crusade. Kel'Thuzad is killed almost immediately. Also, the dragons kill Malygos, so he stops eating all the magic, and another dragon named Klekos replaces him as the Aspect. Some of the Forsaken betray everyone and release a plague on a bunch of Alliance and Horde soldiers, including Bolvar 4 Dragon. Alexstrasza tries to save him on fire with questionable results. Yogg-Saron wakes up inside of Ulduar, so the champions of Azeroth kill him before he drives everyone insane. The Argent Crusade hosts a big joust to decide who gets to kill the Lich King. The winners get to storm Icecrown Citadel. It's discovered that the charred but still alive Bolvar is being held by Arthus.
Can't we just jump his ass?
Led by the High Lord of the Argent Crusade, Tyrion Fordring, the best jousters in Azeroth march on Icecrown Citadel and kill the Lich King, shattering Frostmourne.
They did. I guess they did.
Is released from
Wait, I guess they did jump his ass off.
Morn tells Tyrion that someone needs to put on the evil hat or the undead will start killing everyone. The walking charcoal briquette that is Bolvar calls dibs and becomes...
Wait, so did all of that system just fall into place as soon as Buddy became the Lich King the first time? How come it doesn't just go back to how it was before he was there? There wasn't always a Lich King on Azeroth, right?
The new Lich King,
it's interesting.
Frozen in a block of ice. The War of the Lich King ends. Remember Deathwing? The old gods have been whispering to him for 10,000 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
this motherfucker.
Bed and broke out a deep hole.
This dude.
Up a lot of Azeroth in the process. Now everything is on fire. And Utah got flooded. The king of the dwarves, Magni Bronzebeard, tries to research how to stop Deathwing from blowing up Azeroth and accidentally turns himself into a giant diamond. Now Ironforge doesn't have a king and the three dwarf clans fight over who should lead. They wind up deciding to just make a council. Gilneas gets overrun by a furry convention and the Forsaken invade and try to plague them. The Alliance shows up to help, but Sylvanas destroys Gilneas anyway. The wolves want revenge, so they rejoin the Alliance. A bunch of goblins that live on an island almost die in a storm, but Thrall saves them, so they join the Horde. The dragon aspects team up to stop Deathwing. They can't form a planet without the aspect of rocks, so they recruit Thrall because he's good at talking to rocks. This means Thrall...
Oh, this is Thrall in his monk arc.
Has to retire from the Horde, so he appoints Garrosh as the new warrior.
Shaman.
Deathwing decides he isn't burning things fast enough, so he summons Ragnaros, who has legs now. The druids storm into the Firelands.
Dude, why does Ragnaros keep popping up just to do shit, bro?
To keep Ragnaros from burning down their trees and kill him for real this time. The aspects realize they can't stop Deathwing without using the Dragon Soul, so Nosdorm goes back in time and steals it. Then Thrall blows him up. Using the Dragon Soul to blow up Deathwing used up all the Dragon aspects' power, so they aren't as powerful anymore.
That's right, I remember this.
Like War, he decides to start one by blowing up the Alliance city of Faramore. Jaina goes crazy and most of her hair turns white. Anduin is on a boat.
Bro, why did he do this? Why did Garrosh just decide to nuke? Bro just wants to scrap?
But gets chased by the Horde and crash lands on an uncharted island called Pandaria, a mystical land inhabited by talking pandas. The Pandaren tell the Alliance and Horde they need to stop fighting or wake up the angry old god spirit that haunts their land. The two factions proceed to fight even harder, and the old gods start corrupting everything. Anduin asks Garrosh to help him save Pandaria.
Thanks, I guess, guys.
Dropping a bell on him. Some of the Horde leaders get upset with Garrosh for declaring war on literally everything, so Garrosh declares war on them and forms a cool new Horde, and the secret ingredient is racism. The rest of it.
Okay, wait. I know there has to be a reason so many of y'all like Garrosh. He just seems like another Crash Out to me, which is also cool as a villain, but like, is there something I'm missing? Bro's just started, he declared war on them too?
Like, the Horde splits off under the troll Vol'jin. Garrosh sees how powerful the old god spirits are. Oh,
Vol'jin. Vol'jin seemed based, I'll be honest.
The old god is buried in a sacred Pandaren mountain. He digs up the heart and throws it in a lake, corrupting all of Pandaria. At this point, Garrosh has declared war on literally every major faction, all of whom team up and storm Orgrimmar to kill him. Garrosh's Horde is defeated and Garrosh is captured and put on trial for setting the world record for most war crimes, ending Mists of Pandaria. While on trial, Garrosh escapes with the help of an evil bronze dragon.
Was there a reason that he just wanted to fight everybody? He legit just got jumped by the rest of the world, but like he beefed with the rest of the world.
Dragon and goes back in time to Draenor before the first horde drinks the blood of Manaroth. Luckily for this video, going back in time creates a little pocket dimension instead of rewriting the entire history of WoW. In this pocket dimension, Garrosh tells his dad that drinking the blood will enslave the horde of the Legion, so they kill Manaroth, capture Gul'dan, and form a cool new Iron Horde, and the secret ingredient
Yeah, y'all did explain this to me.
They still decide to invade Azeroth though, so they build a new dark portal and plug Gul'dan into it like a 9-volt battery. Somehow, this allows their portal to hijack into our portal, and suddenly the Iron Horde is pouring into present-day Azeroth. The Alliance and Horde team up with Khadgar, but resident
that's kind of crazy how that works.
And send a strike force called the Iron Vanguard through the portal to turn it off. They do
I
this
remember
by
this
unplugging
cutscene
Gul'dan and just letting him walk away for some reason. Then, since people keep reopening these things, we blow up the portal with a cannon. The Iron Vanguard goes around killing the various warlords of the clans. Thrall challenges Garrosh to an honorable orc duel, but then he loses, so he just kills him with lightning instead. Without 90% of its leadership, the Iron Horde gets absolutely bulldozed, at which point Gul'dan shows up with a cooler of that tasty demon blood, and the Iron Horde orcs all join the Legion anyway. Gul'dan summons
God
Archimond,
damn it,
still
with
alive,
this
because it
Legion
turns out
shit,
that the
bro.
demons that have been getting killed have to be killed in the Twisting Never, their souls just go back to Argus and reform. Also, this is the same Archimond that fought in the Third War, because despite this being a pocket dimension, there's only one Burning Legion somehow. Look, WoD is a really confusing expansion. Anyway, the Iron Vanguard teams up with remains of the uncorrupted Iron Horde, because apparently war crimes are okay if other people commit more war crimes. They kill Archimond for real this time, but not before he picks up Gul'dan and throws him into space. The Iron Vanguard declares victory and goes home, ending the Warlords of Draenor. The Burning Legion sends alternate universe Gul'dan
so we're just forgiving
victory and goes home, ending the Warlords of Draenor. The Burning Legion sends alternate universe Gul'dan to Azeroth.
That's one thing about WoW. There's so many wars happening and stuff with the same people that it starts getting I mean, I feel like it's unavoidable when it comes to game lore because you can't throw characters out immediately and you can't skip in like crazy lengths of time without, like, it would be too jarring for people to like play an expansion where it's like, oh yeah, now we're 100 years later, but you end up in a situation where like some of these characters are involved in way too many things and you have people who committed war crimes on each other all in the same place. It's like, wait, what's going on, bro? At this point, everybody has fought everybody damn near, and then a threat happens, they all fight the threat, and then they all go back to fighting each other. But then you have like villains that probably should have died staying alive for like multiple crazy arcs and going right back to doing war crimes. Damn, like y'all really let Gul'dan live? Like, for example, or Sylvanas? Because mind you, we haven't even got to burning Teldrassil, what happened when Varian died. We haven't even got to any of that. I'm confused how anybody was even rocking with her.
In order to open the tomb of Sargeras and let the Legion invade. And this time he actually does it. He also
she's already done like
body from jail
at least 3 heinous things.
The Alliance and Horde team up to stop the Burning Legion once and for all in the Broken Shore, and they get
I see why Varian was pissed.
Melted, Vol'jin is murked.
I see why Varian did not
Varian gets disenchanted by
vibe with them.
For reasons unclear to everyone, including Vol'jin, he decides to vanish.
Disenchanted is crazy.
And promptly dies. Anduin is now High King of the Alliance and also kinda hot. Remember that Dwarf King who got turned into a rock? He woke up and he can talk to Azeroth now. Also, a fat goat turns Ysera crazy, so the champions of Azeroth kill her. Lich King Bolvar wakes up and he starts making Death Knights to fight the Legion. Also, he's on our side now. The Legion is still primarily located on the Broken Isle, so Khadgar teleports Dalaran there to fight them. The Alliance and Horde free
teleporting that place around.
The Burning Legion is starting to lose, so Kil'jaeden plans to use the Tomb of Sargeras to make an even bigger portal so the Legion can bring more troops from Argus, but we storm the tomb and kill him first. For real this time. Illidan then opens the portal anyway, because he wants to fight more demons. The armies of Azeroth all pile onto a spaceship and fly to the planet Argus to kill the Titan Argus. They find Illyria and Turallion, who are on a space crusade. The gang finds out that Sargeras is holding the souls of a Titan Pantheon prisoner and free them. Then they kill Argus, which means the demons
That's what that was about.
Meanwhile, Sargeras finally has a portal big enough to pass through, so he heads to Azeroth to destroy it. The Pantheon stops him and puts him in Titan jail, but not before Sargeras impales his sword into Azeroth in a last-ditch effort to kill the World Soul. The Legion is defeated and Illidan stays behind to bully Sargeras. Back on.
Dude, okay, what was bro's beef with Azeroth's world? So, like, they explained it earlier, but didn't they also say he corrupted another world soul? Like, I thought he was saying earlier that his whole thing was that he realized the world souls could be corrupted, so he was trying to kill it to keep that from happening. But at this point, he's caused so much bullshit that it's like, you might as well just let the world soul get corrupted at that point. Or is that a worse threat to him? I don't know.
The Titan world soul is bleeding to death because it has a big sword stuck in it. The blood is good at making
bombs,
so
not great.
Wants it. Sylvanas is angry when an elf was mean to her, so she burns down Teldrassil. The Alliance retaliates by storming Lordaeron, so Sylvanas blows it up.
As you do.
Captures High Overlord Saurfang, who feels bad about burning down a tree full of defenseless civilians. The champions of Azeroth get a fantasy phone call from Magni. Azeroth is going to die unless they cram a lot of her blood into a magic necklace, so they start doing that. The Alliance and Horde go to Kultiras and Zandalar because they need boats. Saurfang still feels bad about committing genocide, so Anduin lets him go. Saurfang rallies the rest of the Horde behind him because they also feel bad about committing genocide. Saurfang and his no genocide
just so funny to me. These are like walking war criminals just ganging up and doing shit.
And go to Orgrimmar to stop Sylvanas and her pro-genocide horde. Saurfang decides at the last minute to challenge Sylvanas to an honorable orc duel instead, and Sylvanas agrees. Saurfang is about to win, so Sylvanas just insta-kills him and tells the horde she never liked him anyway and flies off. Everyone feels bad, but her pro-genocide horde's mom just left, so they forgive him for all the genocide immediately and before.
That's the part that I don't get. Like, I get you kind of have to do that because there has to be, the story wouldn't be able to continue in the game if you don't do that. But I do feel like because of that, it kind of takes the weight out of like some of the things that happen. Because when you have like a group of people and then you're like, oh yeah, this entire group of people was okay with doing the most heinous things possible. One thing happens with their leader and then all of a sudden those people are just kind of chilling. It makes sense actually. Never mind. Because in hindsight, that kind of happens in real life. Country can do some heinous shit. And then as long as now they have a new president or king or prime minister or whatever, then people are just like, it's probably fine. I guess the only difference here is it almost feels like there's no such thing as civilians. I know there are in World of Warcraft, but the way these people gang up, can anybody in the horde even be considered a civilian? I don't even know.
Things are starting to wind down when the champions of Azeroth accidentally set N'Zoth free because a knife tells them to. Then they kill him with a magic necklace and nothing of consequence changes. Sylvanas flies to Icecrown Citadel, beats up Lich King Bolvar and steals his hat. Then she breaks it, which makes the sky explode and also probably kills Ner'zhul. Now the afterlife is connected to regular life, which is bad, so everyone is about to kill themselves in order to beat up the Grim Reaper. And that's the history of WoW.
Okay, wait, so then this ends 5 years ago. Okay, yeah, this doesn't go into Shadowlands. Okay, everything makes sense. I think it's like I knew kind of the sequence of events from the cinematics and what y'all have been explaining. Some of these things I didn't know exactly how one thing led to another. A lot of people have been like very vocal in telling me what expansions they like and dislike and stuff. To be completely fair, it is very hard to keep a story like this running because there can't be a beginning and an end. There can't be a proper flow of a story in the traditional sense because you have to make it keep up with players and a game that's meant to constantly be going. Things get convoluted, characters overstay their welcome or like develop in ways that don't really make sense because you can't just have an open and shut arc without risking losing, I guess. Like, it's very hard. It's kind of like when you have one of those long running TV shows where you can tell the actors are on contract to come back for a certain amount of season, so their plot lines become more and more convoluted and sometimes things repeat themselves and become inconsistent just because you kind of have to keep that character in the show. You can't have a good start to finish story. You can, it's just hard to do. Also, you don't have this one creative head. You have different levels of input, I'm guessing, from the team, and you've got different people running things at different times. Like some of y'all were telling me specific people were responsible for the writing around Sylvanas, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know about all that. Y'all got that. It's just like when you have a show that changes showrunners or has different directors for different seasons and episodes, you're just gonna end up with a weird story when you pan back. If you look at a few expansions, the story feels coherent. When you draw back, look at all the things that have happened across different expansions in the span of 20 minutes like I just did, some of the stuff you're just like, they did, huh? It starts getting a little crazy, but I think that's part of, again, just keeping a game going like this. The story has to keep up with an ever extending cycle of gameplay. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you want to still clarify things, feel free to in the comments. If more cinematics drop for Warcraft, I'm 100% down to peep it. I'll add it to the list. People have been telling me to check out StarCraft. I know nothing about StarCraft. I was thinking about looking at Warframe cinematics. Yeah. Just let me know whether the games have high quality cinematics that I can check out, especially cinematic trailers, because ones that have like hours of cutscenes, I don't know that I'll be able to watch through every cutscene of a game, but maybe. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed. Have a good one.